Were you ever a child by chance? Were you ever a tiny, tiny little person running around with a Capri Sun, eating Twix or whatever it was that you consumed a lot of in your childhood? For me, it was toaster strudels, a surprising amount of toaster strudels. Well, if that's the case, you may have a lot of nostalgia for a movie that I grew up with being like a staple of my fantasy introduction, and that would be Dragonheart, a fantasy banger epic. It was so good. I refuse to watch as an adult. I don't know if it'll hold up good in my brain, so I'm never going back to it. I know some of you probably won't be surprised if I tell you there's a Dragonheart 2. Oh, what's that? Is there a Dragonheart 3? Who would have known? No, there's a Dragonheart 4. Oh my god, there's a Dragonheart 5. There is indeed doodly doody a Dragonheart 5. Don't worry if you haven't seen 2, 3, or 4. They're completely unrelated from what I can tell because this movie's standalone as hell. And we're going to talk about Dragonheart 5 today. Dragonheart Vengeance. Yes, Dragonheart Revenge is the theme of this Dragonheart movie, and man, oh man, does it live up to it. I'm challenging you to something throughout this video. Keep track of the unbelievably gory violence that happens in this, like, kind of kid-aimed, kind of not adventure film. We're gonna get into the tone later, but hey, sit back, relax, maybe grab some popcorn or two, and let's go ahead and jump into going over the events of Dragonheart 5, currently on Netflix. Dragonheart, the vengeance of the people die. A lot of people get killed by dragon in this. So this movie opens with some pretty standard fantasy opening crawl narration stuff, kind of inspired by Game of Thronesian map looking thing. It's pretty neat. And this exposition tells us there are 7 great dragons that are sent out from a land called Britannia, and they all ventured out in the world. One dragon was going to the land we're in, it's relevant to us. It's like literally actually none of this matters, so I'm just gonna brush over it. And apparently this dragon was supposed to bring hope, but it brought no hope, and now everyone hates the dragon. This opening narration is a lie. I mean this as bluntly as I can. It has no relevance to the actual movie. At no point was this dragon actually supposed to bring hope. No idea what this is about. Maybe it was related to Dragonheart 4. I don't know, but it's not relevant to what happens in this film whatsoever. Moving on, we cut from that like 2-minute segment to our lead protagonist, whose name we do not learn for a while. At least if he dropped it, I didn't catch it. And he's on a farm working with some cows. The cows won't till the fields, so he threatens to murder and eat them with his family. That sounds a little brutal. It was in the moment. I'm not gonna lie, I was eating my ice cream, Cherry Garcia. It was great. While I was watching this, and in my head I was like, that was kind of a lot. You just threatened to murder these cows. It gets more interesting when it becomes apparent the cows understood him. This is not animated, this is live action. The cows move when he threatens to kill them. And I know what you're thinking, Daniel, that's a one-off joke. They didn't actually like, no. There's a running thing in this whole movie that all animals understand English and can communicate with people. So buckle up, buckaroo, that's a thing. So he actually just threatened his workers with the penalty of death. Don't worry though, real death is happening currently. Because as Luke is working the fields, he starts hearing his mother scream from the farm. He runs up to the farm, doesn't go in through the way where he's like, oh, that's the room my mom's screaming in. He goes in to a side area and like peeps through a little peephole. He's like, what's going on? It's causing my mom to scream. And he sees 4 people in there with his parents. His dad's dead. And then Luke makes eye contact with his mom while she has her head pulled back and throat slit. This is Dragonheart. This is like 5 minutes into a Dragonheart movie. Oh my god. There is no like setup. We're not told anything about these people aside from his dad likes playing the flute, and then we watch them murdered. The people then decide to have their like business meeting in this burning farm. They started a fire, OSHA, and they're like, you go north, wolf guy to recruit, bear guy, you go another direction, snake lady, you go another, and scorpion man, I'm gonna go another. So they all have animals, those are their animals, they go in different directions to recruit, to burn more farms and villages, even though it was just the 4 of them that attacked this one. Apparently they need an army for the next village or town. again, it does not make sense to the grand plot. We'll get into that later. Luke watches all this happen, stays in his little side area. The people get on their horses and leave. How they didn't see Luke when they were rolling up, I don't know. But Luke then decides to take his cows, because he's committed to his workers, into the local city. So he goes to his city. By the way, I just want to say, Luke doesn't cry or like scream out at any point in any of this. He watches it happen. He gets his cows and heads in. Is he in shock? Is Luke in shock? I genuinely can't tell. So he goes to the local town. The king's going by, and Luke like pleads his case to the king because the king is clearly like taking in people's like complaints. Some of the people are like, I'm hungry, and the king's like, here's some seeds. Even though the woman's like, I'm starving now. He's like, plant this, come back in 6 months. You'll be dead, but there'll be a plant there. I don't know what the plan was there. The king's very incompetent, but luckily that fits the story. But then Luke's like, hey, there's these people. And the king's like, I will take care of those people when I can get around to it. So king sucks. One of the king's guards tells Luke's like, get lost. And then Luke says, I can't. I have a great sense of direction. And that's my favorite line in any movie ever. I love that in the medieval village, this guard's like, get lost, kid. And Luke's like, I can't. I have an impeccable sense of direction. And then storms off back to his cows. Luke then walks around a market a little bit, and a love interest walks by. It's just a pretty girl. Luke looks at her. They make eyes. His parents died like 4 hours ago, and he's thinking about his but all right. He makes eye contact with her. There's a moment he picks up her name. It's Osana. My phone kept correcting that to Obama. So now in my notes, it's just he has a love interest with Obama. I never corrected it because that was never not funny to me. But cut from there to he goes to a tavern. And Luke's just like, I need to hire some people. But a guy who's been following him grabs him and is like, don't hire those people. Hire me. I'm Darius. I'm dope. You'll like me. Just hire me. 4 dudes roll up and they're like, no, hire us. We're better than him. For the same price, you get more people. And Luke's like, that makes sense. It's like multiple dudes. There's just you, same price. And as he's like considering, even though this guy's about to get the job, one of the 3 dudes just grabs the coin from Luke's hand. He's like, offers up. This is for the consultation fee. And then Darius just whips out his sword and cuts the man's hand off. Blood sprays out. And he says, I meant to get the other hand. I'm sorry. Fight ensues. So now we're just brutally maiming people for taking some coins, which I guess fits medieval times. Darius against the guys. Luke grabs his coins. City guard shows up. Everyone scrams. And Luke goes and spends the night in a smithy. He wakes up the next morning and the smithy's like, oh, I'm taking care of a customer. And Luke comes out and he's like, take care of me as your customer too. He wants a sword. Smith's like, no, that's going to cost too much money. You don't have that much money. And Luke's like, well, I saw you have bad smithing practices and I'll besmirch your name across the whole city and ruin your business and send you under forever if you don't give me a sword. First, he offers him his entire farm, but the smith says no to that. Then he blackmails him with a threat to his whole livelihood. So then the smith's like, oh, okay. You can have a sword, but the tone this whole time is like super friendly, even though horrible. This is weird. They're very much so trying to have like a fun Pirates of the Caribbean adventure tone. They're just missing it by a very surprising amount. As they're wrapping up their deal, the smith then tells Darius about a local dragon who apparently will aid people in quests like this. And I know what you're thinking. There's no way this little local task-accepting dragon is the mythological Hope dragon from before. Except it absolutely is. And there's never anything with Hope brought up again at all. That's not relevant here in any way, shape, or form. That opening crawl served zero purpose. It genuinely feels like they were at the beginning, they were like, we need some kind of opening text crawl, but our story doesn't need anything explained. I'll just throw some Hope Trader Dragon. Oh yeah, and because the dragon didn't bring hope, they called it the Trader Dragon, which kind of does tie into something later. So after having a weird comment about trying to be friends with the smith, Luke heads off to go find this dragon. And I know what you're thinking. Is there like a lot of trying to find an old map or a Death Star knife, something that'll point him to the dragon's lair. No, he just runs up to random people in the woods for a while, not kidding, and just asks them like, hey, you know where the dragon is? One of them's just like, no, and throws a rock at him, and it's amazing. It's like the best comedic moment of my lifetime. But then he finds a couple people who are just like, oh yeah, the dragon, that's right. It's right on like 5th and Wayne. And I know what you're thinking. There's no street signs, except there is literally a sign that says, oh yeah, the dragon, right there. The big traitor dragon that disappeared, leaving the country with no hope, has signage. It's like a Target. Literally, like the store Target. But this ice dragon. So Luke finds the cave of the dragon and has a surprisingly small interest, but it absolutely works with some stuff set up about the dragon, so it's fine. And he goes in, and what are the first words you say in a dragon's lair? This is again a comedic moment that I think they were going for, and it worked. It absolutely made me laugh, and it's part of why I actually enjoy this movie. Luke walks in, and he just says in his teenager voice, "Dragon, come out." And it does. The dragon comes out and reveals itself, and it's voiced by one of my favorite actresses ever. No jokes, no memes. Helena Bonham Carter is voicing this dragon, and she's killing it. She does a spectacular job of voicing this dragon, and I'm thrilled. I'm on cloud nine with this movie. Everyone needs to watch it. The dragon reveals her name to be Siveth. I'm going to call her Dragon because that's so close to so many different dragon names. I'm afraid I'll be sued for calling her that name, Siveth. So we're just going to call her the Dragon. Also, I just can't keep track of names very well. And our main protagonist finally says his name is Luke, confirming he is Luke. His name is Luke. It took me until this scene to know. I know I've been referring to him as Luke for a while, but like it was this scene where I finally went, Jesus, okay, he said his name. Dear God. And Luke's like, can you help me murder 4 people who killed my family? And the dragon's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Revenge is bad. And then Luke's like, well, screw you, I'll kill them myself. And he leaves. He leaves the cave, and that's the interaction with the dragon, essentially. There's a couple like jokes and a commentary on sexism, but that's the interaction with the dragon. He heads out and goes about his merry way. He wakes up another morning. This movie just has night and day sequences whenever it feels like, and there's no relevancy to any travel. They just appear other places, and time has either moved a lot or none, depending on whatever the script demands. I love it. It's chaos. It's wonderful. But Lucas wakes up, and there's a big white horse next to him with a saddle. And he's like, oh, that's nice. I needed that. So he takes the saddle and the horse and asks no questions. He just has he's a thief. So he's a thief now. He's stealing stuff. He goes down to a local stream, and a little bit of a sound kind of spooks him a little, and he like looks around and he goes back to what he's doing, and then a bush stands up, and it's Darius, the guy from the tavern who cut off another dude's hand over some coins that were Lucas's, in a full ghillie suit that he made, because he somehow knew Lucas would come here, and he knew to stand at this exact stream, at this exact spot, because that's where Lucas would take a drink of water. Darius is awesome at his job. He makes Aragorn look like a Boy Scout. So he scares Lucas, and he's like, let me help you do it. I'll take the coins. I'm gonna help you kill these 4 guys. And Lucas is like, all right, we're a team. Let's do it. And I thought at this point, maybe Darius left him the horse, and that's where it came from. But no, he didn't. So Lucas is like, hey, the 4 people split up, went all different directions. Darius is like, that's fine. We'll go to the Broken Lands first. That's where the bear guy went. He's a barbarian. He's going to go recruit a bunch of barbarians. Let's go. Then cut to a small travel montage, very, very small one, where Darius decides to bless us with his backstory and how his parents died. Darius is like 50-ish looking. No offense to the actor, I don't know your actual age. It's this much odd to have a guy this old start monologuing about how his parents got murdered. It reminded me a little bit of how Batman's villains must feel. Like if Batman just started monologuing like a full-grown adult, like, this is why I am the way I am. This happened when I was 8. But it turns out they died in a cart accident where they were in a cart and a cart came whizzing by with a one-eyed man driving and pushed his parents off the road, and there was a cart accident and they died and he lived. That's Darius's backstory. He really wants to find that one-eyed man. And Darius is like very anti-dragon. He's like, I knew the dragon would tell you no. She sucks. Pfft. Dragon's terrible. Never. The writers are sheer genius. Never in a million years would I've even considered a tragic cart driving accident as a backstory for your ranger character. But it's magnificent. And it leads to one of the twistiest twists you've ever heard of later down the road. Buckle up, buckaroos. We're just getting started. And I just want to note, there's so many weird moments scattered throughout this. Not just like Darius and the ghillie suit thing, but like there's just a moment where like they're talking and Darius is like, whoa, hold up. Look how pretty that is. And he just points to some landscape. Like, that's something a friend would do in real life. Like, look how beautiful this land is. But Darius does it here. And it doesn't fit his character. It just halts the script and is used as a transition to the next scene. It's next level. I'm just not understanding it. That's the problem. I don't get it. So, cut to from here to they arrive in the Broken Lands. I don't know if they've been together a month or 4 hours. You can't tell. It's exactly what it needs to be. They're in the Broken Lands, and Darius is like, I need to teach you how to fight. Because now that we're here in the place with the barbarians, now's the time to start your practice. So they have a funny, cute sword fighting scene where Lucas shows some potential, and Darius shows he's pretty good too, and they chase each other around. That's it. A little bit of grab ass, but it's good. I like it. It's cute. We also see Darius pick up like a handful of worms and talk to them. And I'm like, oh, okay, he's just talking to worms because he's weird and kooky. It's not like a real like thing. He's not getting real intel. Except the worms actually tell him which direction the bear guy's coming from, and it's accurate intel. So yes, people can talk to animals in this movie, including the worms. Tolkien is not on this level. What language do Tolkien's worms speak? You don't know, because he isn't like Dragonheart 5. So then we learn how the dragon became known as the traitor. Here's the real backstory that is completely different and not relevant to the fake backstory we got earlier. So it turns out the dragon, like the king was at war with another nation, and it was like a war he didn't want, he wanted it to end, and the dragon volunteered to help. But the king got injured in battle and asked the dragon, like, hey, give me a piece of your heart so I can live. The dragon said no, for no reason, apparently, and the king lived anyway. And then the king was like, you're a traitor, dragon. You didn't help your king when he needed you. You're expelled from this land, shame. And then the dragon went off and known as the traitor dragon. How is that bringing... What point was the hope brought? The opening crawl was like it came from Britannia to bring hope. It did not say it came from Britannia to participate in our local conflicts and possibly save our king if he became mortally... What? But... guys, here's where you thought, like, Daniel, this isn't that weird. I don't know what you're talking about. This is fine. Guy in a ghillie suit popping out scaring somebody. That's normal. I see it every Tuesday. The horse Luke's been riding this whole time, mystery horse that came out of nowhere, it's been the dragon this whole time. Wings pop forth from the white stallion, and it morphs into a fully grown dragon, and it goes, nay. Nay, sir, that is not what really happened. And I know what you're thinking. Bequeath us with the knowledge of what did happen then, Lady Dragon. It does not. It says that is not what happened, but it also does not explain further. It decides to be quiet on the matter for now. Yet Darius is furious the dragon's here. He's like, kid, either you're working with the dragon or you're working with me. Who would you rather have on your side with this barbarian who's possibly recruited a bunch of people to fight with him? And the kid, like a smart person, says the dragon. So Darius pisses off. He leaves. He's like, I'm out. I'm done. Not going to be a part of this no more. And he's out. And the dragon's like, good choice. I'm not going to help you kill anybody. We can confront them, but no, dragon, what do you think's going to happen? The dragon's like, we can confront people. Just don't murder them. It'll be fine. I'm just going to keep you safe. So the bear guy does show up from the direction the worms indicated before. He refers to Luke as meat, as you do with someone you don't like. But Luke kind of like surprised him, and then a bunch of barbarians come out and attack Luke like they were waiting. So it's really confusing on like who was the one who surprised who here. Whatever, regardless. The dragon shows up and protects Luke from all the barbarians. A horrible real person versus dragon CGI fight ensues. The dragon gets distracted by the horde of barbarians that are with Bear Guy now. Bear Guy now chases Luke up a hill, picks Luke up, starts spinning him around by the belt. The belt snaps, so he accidentally lets Luke go. Then he stumbles down the hill and dies, just as the dragon is done dealing with the horde of barbarians. So Bear Guy dies. because a belt snapped and he fell down a hill. That's how his character resolution is handled. He's now dead at the bottom of a hill, kind of bloody in his arms and stuff. I would say that's like a kid's movie death, but when they cut to him dead down there, he has a surprising amount of blood. Like, that's a death where if you're in a kid's movie, you're like, oh, we don't need blood. He just fell down a hill. We can be like, oh, he's laying there, he's dead. But they just like smear him in blood. So what tone is this film? So then there's another flying montage of our main character and the dragon talking, getting to know each other. No explanation from the dragon of what really happened that made her not give the king her heart. But then we just kind of stumble upon the second guy. We knew Luke was heading in the general direction of the wolf guy, but apparently in this whole continent, very easy to find people. There's a very quick conflict where the wolf guy is like trying to fight him. He takes Luke hostage, and then suddenly there's a dog. Like a dog just shows up, and you're like, oh, look at the doggy. There's a doggo right there. And the guy goes, oh, look, doggy. And he kind of lets Luke go. And then it turns out, you thought, no, the dog was the dragon the whole time. Wings spurt from the dragon, and the man is amazed as the dog turns into a several-ton dragon and pins him down. What? So the dragon can not only turn into a horse, she can turn into all manner of critters. She's got the superpowers of Beast Boy. Can she be a person? I want to see the human version of the dragon, but we don't get that. But she's like, hey, don't kill this guy. Don't be like him. Take him alive. And then like as Luke's picking up at one point, his hood falls back. He's been scalped. He's lived a rough life too. Insert another travel montage where the wolf guy is kind of talking. He's like, oh, I'm like you. I started my horrible life with the revenge. And Luke's like, I'm not like you, even though I am on a murderous revenge rampage. I'm not you. Stop it. Cut to, they're now at the third lady. So they then get to where the snake lady is. And she's with some people in a little hut having a good day. For some reason, Darius is already there. He's snuck on the roof of the hut. He puts a blanket over the chimney and he's trying to smoke them out. But oh no, Darius, this building, not up to code. So he falls through the roof, stumbles out the door with a bunch of baddies. Oh no, he's got to fight. Except he doesn't have his sword anymore. Must have fallen off in the house. So then he's about to get murdered, but he gets thrown his sword by the dragon, and he's on a fight. And then the dragon flies to help him too. Snake Lady gets on a horse and runs off. And then Luke, little did you know, demonstrates that he is like Captain America physically. Snake Lady gets on this horse, starts riding off. Luke, from a distance, like a goddamn boss, catches up to her on a horse and just Ray Lewis's a hoe off the beast. And that horse is not a dragon in disguise. I want to make that very clear. That is just a regular horse that Luke just outran. By the way, up an incline. Luke, why do you need a dragon? You are Captain America. Luke fights the lady. She hisses at him, super snaky. She keeps hitting him with like the butt of her knives and not the blade, because he needs to live. Also, just to remind you that this movie has tonal problems, it decides to have the wolf guy try and escape, but the dragon decides, no, you can't do that, so she freezes his arm, and it gets pulled off by the horse he's tied to, just ripped from the socket, and then he then falls back into a river, and they leave him. They just go off and deal with Snake Lady now. They're like, we can only have one prisoner, and this one's a hot chick. So priorities, I'm sorry, wolf guy, goodbye. She is now our prisoner for some reason. And it's then revealed, because Darius and the dragon show to share pain, very clearly they're shown to share pain, that they actually have a link. The reason the dragon didn't give the king part of her dragon heart is she had actually already given it to Darius when he was a kid, because cut back to the traffic accident. Turns out when the traffic accident happened, Darius was gravely injured. And so the dragon was like, oh, Tatapa, here's my heart. Save you. You're still alive. She then took the boy and dropped him off at an abbey where he was raised. And he eventually realized he had a connection to his dragon, that he didn't actually remember the accident. He was like, oh, I have a connection to a dragon, because he started being able to like talk to worms and other things. He also apparently could see through her eyes occasionally, but he decided to block that off. He's like, no, I don't want to see through your eyes, even though that's like kind of cool to see. No, I'm not going to do it. As this is all revealed, the snake lady like kind of gets up and tries to like run off, and Darius just chucks a rock at her head and knocks her unconscious. for several hours, so she has severe brain damage. When Snake Lady wakes up, they're all kind of like bonding and getting along a little bit, and then they're like, okay, where's the fourth guy? Where's Scorpion Man? And she's like, he's coming here, but he can know I'm in danger, so now he's not going to come here, so you're screwed. It's really weird. She's just like, he knows now, so he was going to come here, now he's not. But now's where the movie gets really intense. Darius decides to tell Luke, okay, she served her purpose, murder her. Murder her in cold blood. She's not fighting, she's tied up. Murder her. And Luke gets up with a knife and is like, all right, I guess I gotta murder you now. And the dragon's like, don't do that. But then Darius comes up, grabs the woman, and like puts her on a rock and is like, do it, Luke! Murder her! But now, oh no, you didn't think we were gonna cut back to the traffic accident once again. You were wrong. We cut back to the traffic accident once again. The dragon reveals it was the king that was responsible for the traffic accident. Turns out he was a horrible king. He caused the wars that were going on to try and cover up the fact that he was blowing through the kingdom's wealth and doing a bad job getting people food and stuff. So he started the wars as like a way to cover that up, got injured on the battlefield, and was being rushed back to the castle to be treated. And he literally was yelling like, run people off the road from the back of the wagon so that Darius's parents get pushed off the road. And he remembers a one-eyed man because they used the enemy nation's cart, which had a one-eyed man banner on it. I'm so goddamn in love with this movie. It's so good. And the dragon was like, oh, I'm not going to give you my heart because I gave it to this little kid who I just brought to an abbey. Also, I know you're kind of a ding-dong because I've been turning into a dog and eavesdropping on you and you suck as a king, so you don't get my heart. But she didn't say any of that. Instead, she just leaves. And that's why the king, when he recovers, is able to be like, she didn't help the king in need, even though I made a full recovery and she actually said I'd make a full recovery. Everyone banish the dragon. Boo. And that's the current situation we're in. I just love the image of the king in the back of the cart being like, run them off the road, get me home, kill them all. Now, but Darius is still like, kill her. We go through all this revelation and Darius is still like, doesn't matter, stab her in the head. But Luke decides, nah, I'm not gonna do it. And they take the snake woman prisoner and they bring her back to the castle. Which, tying it all together, she's then taken prisoner by Oanna's dad. That's right, Oanna, she's a medicine lady in town, but her father is the local prison keep. So that's their family bond. It's also very unclear what age Oanna is. It kind of seems like she has her own house, yet her dad is hyper involved with her life. It's a little like, I'm not sure, is she 15 or 20? I don't know. Luke tries to flirt with Oanna, or in my head, Obama, but his whole crew blocks him together. And the dragon is in this city, by the way, but she's in dog form. Once again, doggo dragon, she's just chilling in that form for now. But the dragon sees him trying to flirt with Oanna and decides, hey, let's Romeo and Juliet the situation. You thought this movie, you thought it had everything. Little did you know, you also get a trying to comedically woo someone in a window while getting a dragon's advice about flirting scene, and it's just as good as you think it would be. It's spectacular. I was not sober watching this, so I can't verify how good it'll be sober, but it's great when you're not. Luke lands the date. Meanwhile, Darius is in a bar and he starts unraveling these little messages he got back at Snake Lady's places. By the way, when he got them and he pulled them out of this like frozen dude's hand because the person was frozen to death by the dragon, fingers fell off the person because again, this movie's tone is just everywhere. It's just everything. But he finds out, oh no, from reading the instructions, these people were been hired by the king to do something. They're working for the king. All of a sudden though, everyone's cleared out as a bunch of the king's guards come in and the king. And Darius is like, oh damn. He tries to hide the letters in a coin pouch, tightens it up, but he's grabbed by the guards, thrown against the wall. King comes in, King's like, hey, I'm going to take down these outlaws when I want to. You stop it. Don't bring them in as prisoners. That's bad. That goes against what I want to happen. This is a very public setting for me to be saying this out loud with my very poorly glued on beard and obviously way younger actor than I look in this makeup. But still, stop doing the job you're hired to do, damn it. And then Darius gets beaten. Here's my question. Luke's on his date. Darius is getting beaten. The dragon can feel Darius's pain. She feels him getting beaten. I'm sure of it because it's shown again later. yet she does nothing and just comes and finds him later in the night and starts licking the blood off of him. I would have gone to figure out why he was being hit, frankly, as a friend. I don't see why you didn't. But I respect your choices because you're a dragon. We then see confirmation that Luke's date went well, but oh no, Scorpion Man's here. We got Scorpion Guy. Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, but not really. We cut to the prison where the Snake Lady does a seductive hanging chain dance to distract Owana's dad. Owana's dad gets distracted, then Scorpion stings him with his little staff. He's got a staff stinger he just whacks him with. So then we cut back to Luke meeting up with his crew, and they all deduce that the king is making the bandits attack the keep everyone's mind off the food shortages, even though that's kind of what was just said. They figure it out, but oh no, before they can do anything, the jail's on fire, the prisoners are gone. Owana's dad is okay though, and the dragon reveals her full form in the city and puts out the fire, and everyone's just real chill with this dragon being there. No one has a problem with it at all. Owana, being a medicine lady, treats her father. That's taken care of. Doesn't seem that big of a deal of a poison. But here's the brilliant character arc that's unfurling. Now Luke is super pissed at the dragon because he's like, we should have just murdered them. Now they're free again. Darius was right. Let's get to the killing. And Darius is kind of like, nah, maybe the killing's the right thing to do. But the dragon's like, I can't be with you anymore because you're going to go do the killing. I'm not for the killing. No killing. Bad killing. So she leaves them to then go hunt these killers on their own, which they do. We also see the dragon. You thought, okay, but now please just get ready for this. You thought the dragon turning into a dog was crazy. What if I told you the dragon then turns into a mouse? Yes, a mouse. My question immediately, if I step on the mouse, does the dragon die? Because it's heavily implied by a scene with a maid that is the case. But we cut from that. It seems like it's been like at most 5 hours, because it's like daytime again, but the dragon said she wanted to investigate the king, so she's a mouse. It seems like she's just investigating what's going on in the castle. Yet somehow, Darius and Luke are in another climate. Now they're in a snowy region, which it was not implied to be cold at all in the castle, so again, I have no idea what's happening here. And they get ambushed by crossbowmen. They hide behind a wagon. Darius is like, Luke, get out of here. We're overwhelmed. We're going to die. Just go. I'll take care of the crossbowmen. Even though he's already killed 2 and there's only 2 left, he's like, it's hopeless. Luke, run. And Luke runs. Luke just listens and gets out. Starts running up a hill, runs straight into Scorpion, and Scorpion just gives him a little. Darius, though, shoots the last 2 crossbowmen. He takes a crossbow bolt to the stomach, but he also kills the last 2 crossbowmen, so he's free too. But Snake Lady's there, and he sees Snake Lady and Scorpion coming down the hill. Luke just tumbled down. Oh no. So he opens up his shared vision back with the dragon, and the dragon from inside the castle sees their dire situation. She sees Luke about to die to Snake Lady and Scorpion about to kill Darius. So she busts out of the whole castle, just boof, back into dragon form and takes off. How many innocents die in her wake? We don't know, but she's gonna do that. She then flies, it seems like 500 miles, while Luke and Darius are still fighting. There's also a moment during the Luke and Snake Lady fight where the Snake Lady, sorry, Pips is nuzzling the camera, where the Snake Lady offers to take Luke back to his farm and be his mother. Luke, don't say yes to that. That's a trap. Don't do that. That's very bad. No. Again, no idea how they got so far away so quickly. All right. Darius is being held under the water by Scorpion as he's like trying to drown him. He's trying to reach for Scorpion's staff. It's a misdirect. He can't reach it. So instead, he pulls the bolt out of his own stomach and kills Scorpion with it. Blood everywhere. Just stabs him dead. While he's being drowned, though, Dragon couldn't breathe also, so she's like falling and not flying well. As soon as Darius, though, kills him with the bolt, she's back up, turns a corner, she's there. Meanwhile, Luke's been fighting Snake Lady. Snake Lady got the best of him. Dragon lands, sees Luke on the ground. Snake Lady's like, don't kill me. I see my Scorpion dude's dead. I'll be your prisoner. I'm so sorry. I'll testify. We'll get the king. I am cooperating. I am under arrest. The dragon who's been preaching peace this whole time, sees Luke on the ground, looks at Snake Lady. She's been preaching, Luke, don't seek revenge. It's not good. So I know what you're thinking. So she breathes like ice breath in the lady, kills her, frees her to death. No, she crocodiles. She grabs her in her mouth, shakes her back and forth, and throws her like a football over there. Snake lady dead. Only witness to the king's crimes dead. Wow, what just happened? So Darius is now next to Luke, both of them in horrible condition. Luke looks like he's about to die, but Darius is like, no, take him, leave me. You can't fly us both for some reason. The dragon definitely looks like he can fly her both, but whatever. Just take him to get healed. She's like, I'll come back for you. He's like, I know you will. Cut to, dragon picks up Luke. They fly off. So she takes someone who's lost a lot of blood and then do high altitudes. They are in the sky, because you know what they say when you lose a lot of blood. Be deprived of oxygen. And then Luke wakes up in the abbot that Darius was brought up in, connecting that full arc like a genius. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. But apparently when Luke wakes up, the first thing they tell him is like, dude, you were in bad shape. We had trouble trying to heal you. You were rough, buddy. So we called in a healing expert. Do you know who they called in? Oana, I don't think I'm saying her name right. She's there too. Bam, she's the expert they called in. She healed him, bringing another character arc fully in. This movie's genius. She is better than this whole abbot. That's why she's able to heal her dad from Scorpion's staff so well. It's all there. You just gotta watch and pay attention. But oh no, you think this is all wrapped up? They just dealt with the 4 killers. Wolf guy got his arm torn off and wasn't seen again, but you know, they dealt with the 4 killers. What about the evil king? Well, the evil king shows up to the abbot with his whole posse of guards and, like, for some reason, 80 villagers. Just a whole bunch of witnesses. He really wants a lot of witnesses there to confront this dragon and these people who took out these criminals. So they accuse the king of doing what he's been doing. The king says no, and he even specifically says, it's your word against mine. Well, guess who hasn't been seen in this scene yet? The dragon has. She's there with Luke, but who hasn't been seen? Darius. What's Darius been doing? How could Darius bring this all together and provide witness testimony that the king's a liar? Well, guess what? He went and got the guy whose arm's been ripped off. You thought he was out of the film. You fools! He's still here, and he's armless, and he's willing to testify. This movie's so good. And he gives a wonderful speech about how not only was he hired by the king to go around killing people in these times to, like, turn the focus away from the fact that there's not a lot of food, because apparently if people are being murdered, people won't think about the fact that they're hungry, but also he was one of the people the king originally hired to help start the war all those years ago. It's all coming undone. This is the trial of the century for Britannia's neighboring kingdom of whatever this place is, but it's still just these 2 people versus the king. Well, the dragon says, if anyone else wants to testify, I'll protect you. So the king's own guards realize it's a great moment to get away with all their decades of crimes scot-free. It's coming undone, but if they flip on him right now, they look good. So they all do. They get to walk away from their life of crime supporting this king consequence-free because they're now under the protection of this dragon. So all of his enablers just bam. Not our responsibility. And the king is pulled down and arrested. And then Darius, I guess because he has part of the Dragonheart in him, is implied to become king. The old king's out after a generation of causing pain and getting his every whim fulfilled. He's then held accountable for his crimes in his elderly age. So justice. Kind of that's the end. We get a little montage of Luke rebuilding his farm. Oana leaves her incredibly lucrative life in the city of being the healing woman to be with him on his crappy farm that he built, because I guess that's a better move for her. I would have gone whatever. And just to assuage any concerns you may have, we also see Luke on his farm with the cows from the beginning. It's truly all coming together here. And we also have the smith. Do you remember the smith who gave Luke his sword? He shows up and he's like, hey, how's it going? And Luke's like, I promised you my family farm. Here's the rights to it. And the smith goes, no, I prefer your friendship. Closing up the last possible loose end of this film. Guys, I cannot tell you the last time I saw this masterclass of screenwriting. This That wasn't enough? You didn't think it had everything? What if I told you at the very end we get a massive party where the dragon has fireworks? Fellowship of the Ring. Your dragon was fireworks. It didn't supply the fireworks. That's the difference here. That's the treatment you get with Dragonheart 5. I want everyone in my audience to enjoy this. Get some friends, have some drinks, experience a dog becoming a dragon. You've earned it. In 2021, you've earned the pleasure that is Dragonheart 5 Vengeance. I love this. This has been an adventure. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. Like and subscribe if you have not already. Hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here. Dragonheart 5 is in my top 20 fantasy films of all time.